Alright, video diary. What is it? 4th of March 2024. It's currently 1:38 a.m. the 5th of March 2024, but you know the drill. I always record the video diaries for some reason the the next morning. Because to me it's just the night of the 4th, right? Anyway, something that I learned, which is pretty interesting. And I knew this for a long time, but for some reason, it just didn't really kind of click in my mind that I should be doing it. But the best way to learn and to ingrain lessons into your mind, and especially into your long-term memory, is by teaching whatever you learned. So that's what I'll be doing with these video diaries, I guess, from now on. Now, a lot of you that, well, some of you that watch me, if you guys ever feel like you have to get some shit off your chest, you have to talk to someone, but you can't really be truthful with them. There's something on your chest, and it's just a heavy load on your shoulders. Record video diaries. I'm serious. Like, you don't have to post them like I do, but just record them. It's probably the best way to, or one of the best ways to literally get that shit off your chest. Because I'm not gonna lie, obviously running a business as a freelancer and as a business owner, it's not easy, and it does kind of challenge you mentally, and you tend to catch yourself starting to self-sabotage, right? And I'm sure a lot of you kind of can relate with that, just self-sabotaging. This started off obviously as me communicating with my future self, but it kind of turned into talking to you guys. But I'm sure you guys catch yourself self-sabotaging sometimes, right? But these video diaries, it really, not only can you explain to other people, but you're also essentially explaining to yourself what you're doing wrong. For example, I always sometimes catch myself self-sabotaging, just mentally just you know, thinking of things like, what if I am just a crazy dude? Like, just crazy for even thinking that this could work. Like, what if I am just really, really crazy? And just saying that is like, you listen to how ridiculous that sounds, and it just sort of fizzles out. You need to let it out somehow, right? You can let it out physically, like in the gym. You could box, you could fight, you could have a jog, whatever. But communicating it, getting the message across to someone, even to a camera like this, it's is real good. Trust me. Another thing is sales. I just finished watching some modules for this sales course, because obviously as a freelancer I need to be good at sales, right? I obviously got hired for the remote sales role because they thought that I was intelligent. they gave me access to their closing course, their closer university, right? Or it's like a net. It's called Net Revenue. Their agency is called Stratton Agency, but it's basically just a sales course, and they want me to go through the sales course before they put me on calls with big companies and close those calls, right? Makes sense, because I got to be good at what I do first. But listening to this, I went through a couple of things, like the flow chart, like how how the closing call should flow, how you should set the call. So how the call should be positioned, and how you should set expectations for the rest of the call. Now, I won't lie. He mentioned that he does this thing where he tells them, look, this is a decision-making call, so this is a decision-making call, and that means that, we'll tell you about everything that we offer. We'll see if we're a good fit, and if we are a good fit, then all we require from you is a yes or no. The only question, or the only answer that I don't like, is I got to think about it, because usually what that means is you haven't done your due diligence in preparing for this call. Okay, so that's how he sets the call. That's how he sets the expectations. I don't necessarily like that approach. Not necessarily because I am more experienced than him, but I've got a feeling that if you force the prospect into a corner like that, borders sort of come up, like sales resistance sort of comes up easier, right? Like, let's say you were on the other side of a sales call, and let's say it's something that you wanted. It could be something that you want, right? It could be something that's, let's say, I don't know, just think of something that you want, and then you have to see a sales call, and then you have to figure out whether it's for you. And at the start of the call, it just goes, you have to give me a yes or no at the end of this call. It's like, okay, you agree to it, but for the rest of the call, you've kind of got a bitter taste and like a sour taste in your mouth. So if it works, then it works, but I don't necessarily like that approach. Okay, I like setting expectations. Obviously, you do have to set expectations for the call, and the best thing that you could get from a call is either a yes or a no. So I reckon, instead of saying I require a yes or a no at the end of the call, I reckon it's better to, now obviously he's probably better at closing than me. He's got more experience. But in my opinion, it's better to say something like, so if I feel like we're a good fit, then I'll sort of explain to you how everything would work if you chose to continue and partner up with us. Now, I will say, I've sent you a couple of documents and a couple of videos beforehand. I don't like, the only response that I don't like at the end of the call is I gotta talk to someone, I gotta think about it, because I've sent you pretty much everything that you need to know, and that does signify that you didn't prepare for this call properly. So that's the only response that I don't like. And yeah, look, I'm gonna give you all the time you need, and I'm gonna explain exactly how we can help you. And if you don't feel like we're a good fit, man, just tell me straight up, like literally tell me straight up, because I don't, honestly, like, I don't, for lack of a better term, I don't give a fuck if you go with us or you don't go with us, right? My goal here is just to make sure that you make the best decision that you can. So if you feel like we're not a good fit for you, then just tell it to me straight up. And that's all I ask of you. Now, I feel like that is a better approach than his approach, because you're basically saying the same thing, right? You're setting the expectation, and at the end of the call, you want a yes or a no. And you don't want to, I want to think about it, maybe, blah, 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 I got to talk to someone. You don't want that. So I like that result, but I just don't like the way that he approaches it. So maybe this it's literally the same thing but regurgitated, but I'm sort of like rewording it a little bit to essentially make the prospect on the other end a little bit more comfortable. Right? So if you're If any of you feel like I'm wrong, just tell me. If you feel like I'm right, also tell me, because, you know, multiple heads are better than one. But yeah, also, so obviously discovery phase, asking them, you know, why they chose the specific career goal or specific career path that they chose, and mirroring and labeling and sort of asking calibrated questions. Now this is interesting because he actually took this method from a book called Never Split the Diff, or Never Split the Difference. And it was written by a dude, I forgot who the author was, but he was a FBI, or it might have been CIA. No, I think it was FBI. He was an FBI interviewer and an interrogator for terrorists. So he would try to uh, get information from terrorists. And this guy wrote a book about how he could do that without using torture, without actually needing to, like, you know, physically harm them, which is good. And obviously the pain points as well. So the pain points is essentially what the client or what the prospect feels like is a big problem for them. And my goal and my job on that call is literally just to find out what the big problem is and whether or not it's aligned with the answer that we're providing. Like, for example, if the guy's problem is he doesn't have enough money, but he has enough leads, but he's not a good salesman, like, I wouldn't be able to help him if I could only generate leads for him, because he wouldn't be able to sell those leads. He wouldn't be able to close those leads. Make sense? Yeah, there's more, obviously, but I thought that I might pause right now. Just hit pause, because it is getting late. I am getting ridiculously tired. And, yeah. Z out. I'm going to bed. See you in the next video.